We're heading down to the last video for graphing rational functions. Let's go ahead and graph this one. Let me go grab my other pens first. Okay, now that I've done that, let's go ahead and start with our pre-step. The reason why, again, we're starting with our pre-step is so that we can see we have our original form, which is right over here. Then we have our factored form, which we're going to use, and then our reduced form to help us see the equation, the function of what we're actually graphing. Okay, so let's go ahead and factor this one. On the top, there's a minus in the middle, and then there's a +3. So when we break it off, it needs to have two negative factors inside. So I'm thinking this is going to be x minus 1 and then x minus 3. And then on the bottom, what I usually like to do is if there's a negative in front of the x squared, I like to take out a -1 first, factor out a -1, switch all the signs inside. So minus minus plus now turns into plus plus minus. And now we can factor that. So it's going to be -1 plus 4 minus 3, I think. Yeah, hope so. Okay, so again, I'm going to label this as our factored form. Okay, factored form. We're going to use this a little bit later. And then now we can start crossing off. And I think we can only cross off this and this. And so this is equal to x minus 1. I'm just going to leave the -1 in the bottom. But it's up to you if you want to put it on the top. If you're going to put it on the top, you're going to have to distribute it to both of those terms, but you don't have to. So, and this is going to be our reduced form. Okay. All right, so that's that. That's going to help us with our graphing. Let's start off with part 1, our vertical asymptote. And as you can see, I'm just going a little bit faster because we've already written the notes down from the previous video. Okay, we're going to set the denominators equal to 0, and we're going to use our factored form. Okay, so use factored form. Okay. Set the denominators equal to 0. So let's take a look at our factored form. -1 is equal to 0. X plus 4, didn't need a parentheses, is equal to 0. And also x minus 3 is equal to 0. Okay. This one does not make sense at all. And then after that, this is x is equal to -4. But this part over here, didn't we cross this one off? Let's just solve this one over here. X is equal to 3. Okay, so we cross this one off as a small reminder. Okay, so we actually have only one vertical asymptote. So we have one, and we can draw that a little bit later. But this one over here is going to be our whole, or our discontinuity at x equals 3. Okay, so at so when x is 3, and then we kind of graph that, then we're going to make that whole over there. Okay, so we only have one vertical asymptote and one whole at x is equal to 3. So we're not going to be drawing a line over here. When the graph is fully finished, and we'll draw that small gap or hole. Okay. All right, so we're done with that one. I'm just going to move my paper up to do horizontal asymptote now. Okay, let's go take a look at the, I'm just going to rewrite the equation minus, okay. So from this equation, I only took the fronts because they were of the highest exponents. And we have matching the same, they're equal. The highest exponents on numerator and denominator are equal to each other. And so we're just going to grab the coefficients. And so if we grab the coefficients, y is equal to 1 over -1, or y is equal to -1. And this is going to be our horizontal asymptote. Okay. From here, if you want, we can probably start graphing. And I think, yeah, let's just do that. Again, be mindful, we don't have two vertical asymptotes, we only got one. X equals -4, so let's go ahead and do that. 1, 2, bam, 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 bam. Okay, and then y is equal to -1. So we're going to graph that one over here. Bam, 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 bam. Okay, and then when the graph is fully finished, then we'll have a hole at x equals 3, and then we'll deal with that a little bit later. So this one is checked off over here. This one is graphed already over here. Okay, let's start off now with 3 x-intercepts, where you're going to set f of x equal to 0. 0 is equal to, and then again, we're going to use our reduced form. Use reduced form. It's just going to be easier. You could use I guess you could use the factor form. I didn't really think about that. So x minus 1 is equal to negative 1 x minus 4. We're going to multiply both sides by the denominator. So this one goes away. Good thing that it's a times 0. X minus 1. So 1 is equal to x. So at 1 comma 0, it's going to pass that. Okay, I'm just checking to make sure that's not a hole. It's not a hole. Good. So I'm just already going to graph 1 comma 0 over here. Okay. And then afterwards, let's do our y-intercept. Also use reduced form. And then for our y-intercept, we're going to set x equal to 0. So we're going to do f of 0 is equal to 0 minus 1, negative 1, 0. Oh, shoot. Did I do... Well, good thing it wasn't a major mistake. So this should have been a plus 4, but good thing it didn't change some of our things. So apologies for that one. So this is going to be supposed to be plus 4, plus 4, plus 4. Okay. Apologies for that. Sometimes it happens. Okay. Negative 1, and then after that, this is going to be negative 4, so 1/4. So 0 comma 1/4. Let's go ahead and graph that. 0 1/4 is somewhere over here, I guess. Okay. All right. So we know that the graph is going to be over here. More than likely, they usually do opposites, but sometimes your graph could actually be here sometimes too. So I'm going to plug in negative 5 for x, and just to see where it's going to be at, so that I know for sure it's either going to be in this or this section. Okay, so other points. F of negative 5, so I'm going to go negative 5 minus 1, and then negative 1, negative 5 plus 4. Okay, not minus 4, plus 4. Okay, this is going to be negative 6. Negative 1 times negative 1. Negative, 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 negative. I was going to make this positive, huh? Close, close. Okay, negative 5 comma negative 6. Okay, so it is on the bottom, okay? But just be careful, because sometimes it could be on the top depending on the equation. So negative 5 comma negative 6 goes over here. Okay, so I think we can fully make a graph now like this. Okay, so this one's going to go like this. And then we will have a curve that's passing through this y-intercept and x-intercept. But as soon as we hit 3, okay, remember we have that hole, so I'm going to make that hole right like that. And then I'll sort of hug the horizontal asymptote. So 22 should look like this. Okay, that was one of the faster videos just because we've already established a lot of the rules. I think you guys have enough information to do the graphing rational functions. All right, you guys, take care.